Hey y'all, how's it going? Hey, hey, hey. Evan, hey. What's up? I'm trying to get going with this little thin pick that I've got here. Just fascinated by Eddie Van Halen played all that stuff, and he played a lighter pick. This may be a little too light, so I'm trying to see. One thing I notice about it is when you're playing fast. Here's my regular pick, and if you're skipping strings, or if you're going from string to string, sometimes with a heavier pick, you get kind of caught up. Although I'm not really. Been playing this a lot lately. It reminds me of like a Satriani. Anyway, I'm trying to play with lighter picks to see what the deal is. Why you like those so much? Let's see here. Who we got here? Oh, Jason's here. First king. He's in and reassuming the throne. He says, I want to say I love how the Facebook group lit up at my presence. Well, here's what's going on with that. I'm trying a new schedule out, and it seems to be working. And that is, so what happens is I spin a lot of plates, and what I've been doing is just bouncing back and forth between different things all day, trying to get it done. And I just got to the point where I was editing podcasts at like 2:00 in the morning and falling asleep while I was doing it. So I decided this is no way to live. So I've set some limits on myself. That's what I would do if a guitar student came to me and was having a hard time. The first thing I do is start setting some limits. So I set limits on myself. And so I do all of the podcasting and business and all those kind of things and the academy and all like that in the mornings. And then at 12, I'm done, except for here where I come in and hang out with you guys. And doing all the other stuff I do the rest of the day, which is a challenge, fit it all in there, but the rest of the day. But the one thing I do before I turn in is I'm going to try and hit every outreach section, so then there's a lot. There's regular Facebook, there's a Facebook page, and then there's the group. And last night I spent most of the time in the group because I really enjoyed it. I just figured I'd put a question up yesterday to start this all off and just see how it goes, see if anybody cared. And it was a lot of great stuff. Some cool guitars I had never seen before. The question was, what's your dream guitar? And some people I hadn't talked to in a long time put some stuff up there too. So it's working out pretty good. So I'm going to try and do that. My goal was like, I'm just going to be out there all the time. It's just not possible. But what I can do is set aside some time where every day I can come in and respond and talk to people. And that's going to be late at night when I'm done everything else. And 2 days it's worked well. So I'm glad that it lit. I don't know that it lit up, but it was. David's here. What's up, man? Evan, Dean's here. And Jason. So one of the other places that, there's a lot of places, but one of the other ones I got to hit last night was the VIP section. We've got a community inside VIP as well. And Jason was very, it's great of Jason. He listed all of the different pedals that he's got. Cause we like to be talking about pedals and things. Right now I'm playing through the the $35 or $40, whatever it is now. Maybe it's $50 by now. DS1. This is old, actually. It's 90s, I think. I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be 90s. It's got to be 90s. Because I remember using that on a record through a Fender amp, if you believe it, and it sounded fantastic through that. So, so I went to the VIP, and he's got all these things. Would you like to see any of that? And I said, you know what? I'm going to take about 10 minutes, and I'm going to read through everything and talk about. And there's a lot of the pedals. Some of them I've been really wanting to try. And the one that I used to use a Microvibe. Microvibe is a Univibe clone from Voodoo Labs. I used that for a long time. Loved it. Sold it for some reason. Oh yeah, I sold it, and I know why I sold it, because I wasn't doing that stuff anymore, and then regretted it afterwards. And so they don't make that out anymore. They don't make that pedal anymore. But there was some problems with it too. So I thought, well, maybe I'm going to look into, and I've been looking for a while about it. I'm going to get a Phase 90 type pedal and a Microvibe for before distortion. I've got the Line 6, the M. I've got two of them. I've got an M5 and the M9, and I could honestly do a gig with an M5 in front of the amp distortion, and then the M9 afterwards. I could do crazy stuff with those, but I'm going to use them more for recording and things. A lot of people are still using. I just saw a Mason, the Vertex Effects. He just did a whole thing about how people are usually using the M9 still on records today. And I love it. I think it's awesome. The blend between, if you use the expression pedal, the blend between two settings on the M9 is just ridiculous. Some of the sounds you get. Are the effects themselves the most crystal clear, especially like the reverb and stuff? No, they're not. But they're very usable. So it's cool stuff. So anyway, I think Jason may do it. He might show. So I went through the list of a lot of the pedals that I wanted to see. And so we may be seeing some of those. I'm really excited about that. Let's see. I'm going to open that up. Let's take a look here. I'm going to go over to the VIP backstage area, and just give me a second. Here we go. We're in backstage. Bam, just like that. And the ones that here I said yes. He says the Shaky Jimmy is the one that we wanted to hear. The Phase 95. I've already at first I thought I wanted the EVH phase pedal, and then I thought, well, I'll just go with the regular old, like a script or just adult. And then the more I hear people loving the Phase 95, the more I was interested in it. So I'd be interested in it. EP Booster, because I have a lot of those. I have two, not a lot, two. I have two of them. I use them all the time, and they always sound good with my guitars. And so I would be using this with some of these pedals, the EP Booster, and the Plexi Drive Deluxe. Actually, the other Wampler Deluxe pedal looked good too. I almost put that one down, but the Plexi Drive is probably the one I would use. And then the Keeley Caverns I've always wanted to hear too. So those are the ones I picked, and I can't wait to hear those. So cool stuff, Jason. That's going to be awesome. Issei's here. Hey man, how you doing? Finished an hour of my hopeless futile guitar exercising, and here you are with the stream. Perfect timing, man. How you doing, man? How was the hopeless futile guitar exercising, and what was the outcome? Was it soreness, pain, or was it a dramatic increase in technical ability? I would love to hear about that. I did a little bit of it too. I'm back and forth with these, Spider and the 1-3-2-4s and all this, the climbs and all that stuff. Sometimes I do those, but most of the time when I'm doing these technique exercises, and I've done a million of them over the years, mostly early on, that's when my technique when I was 18 is puts me to shame right now. And mine, it's pretty good right now. But I was really into it. And, you know, a lot of pain and a lot of working on combinations that I never use. And so sometimes I start thinking about intervals and scale patterns as technique exercises. So kind of cutting out the middleman, but still doing what these technique exercises do, which is get your hand going in different ways and getting repetition even, you know. So in the later levels that I'm working on 3 different levels right now. In the later levels, I have ditched the mindless technique exercises for relevant ones. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. Jason says, would you like me to split the Univibe and Fave 90 to go before dirt? I have them towards the end of the yeah, I would honestly, yes. I would love to hear those before the dirt because that's how I use them. Especially Univibe. Phase 95 I probably would as well. Yeah, if you just could every once in a while. I mean, just play it the way you have it, the way you would do it at first. But I got to be honest, I would be interested in hearing those before the dirt as well, too. I like chorus afterwards. I like modulated delay afterwards. Flanging, I think I like before. But I have heard it done, especially with the Spark, because in all the little Spark presets, you know, all the modulation is after the fact, after distortion. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Flanging was one I think that worked, but I would usually go in front. Let's see here. 99% of the time, I always spin with my left hand. Right now I'm trying to develop speed, but 198 is my top. At 209, I have 8. Okay. Left fingers don't move fast enough. Yeah. And that's your, let's see here. There's another one. Been working on speed for 1 year, every day, several hours, all kinds of approaches, starting with slow metronome going up, doing various exercises, single finger combination, etc., but still there. Yeah, that's your wall. You know, that's your wall. Every day for 2-3 hours working for speed. Well, you're very committed, and that's awesome. You know, the how I tell people to start is start like super comfortable, like you're saying, you know, start low and work high, and gradually increase, and at some point you're gonna hit the, you know, the where the returns aren't what you're putting into it, you know, and that happens to everybody. There's a wall, and then at that point, it's like stumbling across that thing. That for me, I was practicing pentatonics because full note scales, and like symmetrical scales. I can go up and up and up and up and up with those until I get pretty. And then, but the pentatonics playing fast pentatonics was always a struggle for me, and I couldn't see it in, you know, the people that you watch. They play it like it's nothing, you know, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I saw like a video. It was a guy who you probably all seen this one. It's kind of like a cartoony video, but it's a guy who's been chasing Eric Johnson's technique and tone. And I watched that a while ago, and probably about 2-3 years ago. It wasn't that long ago, 2-3 years ago. And how I would get past that is angling the pick. You know, my picks would catch, and that was always the problem. It wasn't the speed; it was the moving from string to string that would catch. So I'd angle the pick down a little bit, less tone, but it would skate over the strings more. I would do 5. You know, stuff like that, and I would get to a certain point, I couldn't do it anymore. It just wasn't. I'd practice it. I'd take my own opinion, take my own advice. I'd back off 2 or 3 beats per minute, and then over a week or 2, work back up to that again, and I'd still hit that wall right there. And then they talked about how he bounced on those. Yeah, so which you know is smart. the problem with fast pentatonics is that moving strings, you're the flat edge of your pick, hits a flat plane of a string, and then no fun. So angling the pick is how I did it. But when I started seeing he did a bounce thing, so there was a part where his hand was actually getting air instead of going straight into the strings, and I was able to do a lot of that stuff with nice full tone as well too. So there's always that point, and it's good to know that point. It's good to know where your wall is, and hopefully you get lucky once you find where that point is. You get lucky and find the technique or the one. It's going to be one stupid little thing that you do differently. You hold your thumb differently, or you put one stupid little thing, and then you can break through that. Then you'll find the next one too. So 2-3 hours. Whew, goodness. Been there. Not going to do that anymore. No thanks. Guitar speed is like my golf game. Hard to break 100. Yeah. My tendons like pain every day. Sometimes even wake up with pain in the hand, still working on it. Some of that time, well, here, let's see here. The irony is my right hand is okay. I could practice 280/8 with down strokes without much trainings, but my left hand. Yeah. There's other things to work on too. And there's other things, it depends on the style of music that you're playing. If you're going to be total shred and that's what you want to do, then that's what you're going to practice, But I got to the point where shredding, for me, I stopped listening to it a lot. And I started liking other kinds of music along with it, and there was some stuff that was that would push me forward as a musician more than the straight trying to play fast stuff. So but I don't know the style of music that you're interested in and everything. But I've been there, I've done it. I'm not doing it anymore. What I find is when I'm in a period like this where I'm not gigging, it goes down, and I can usually tell by my fingernail on my picking hand, my pointer fingernail on my picking hand. And so what ends up happening is when my technique is going well, I tend to wear the side of that finger down because it's constantly scraping the strings. And so what I used to do is I would put some glue on my fingernail, or I would put other things just to kind of build it, to keep it built up, because but I know when that's happening, when that fingernail is longer on one side than the other side, I know, okay, things are starting to pick up. Things are going good. And when I'm playing, I also, at home, I play sitting down a lot. And so when I'm standing up, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I should practice standing up more, because my technique usually is better when I'm standing up than when I'm sitting down, which is the opposite for a lot of people I know. Let's see here. He says, well, I really love fast music. However, the thing is, even in a slow genre, there are always very small portions where you play 2-3 notes very fast, small bursts, and I can't do it. Yeah. It's in slow, and like super slow is even harder, I played blues for a long time. So here's me. I was a rock kid. I liked rock. I started off with like Zeppelin and Van Halen. And then, everybody talks about Paul Gilbert now, but I've been listening to Paul Gilbert. I love Paul Gilbert in the beginning, Cacophony and all the Becker stuff. I was into all that stuff. But the thing is, my career in music took me other places. I went to jazz school, and out of jazz school, of course, I didn't play jazz. I went in because nobody plays jazz out of that. They went into blues because that's where, and I liked blues. I liked more Southern rock, but it was kind of the same thing. But I got in bands and did my own band too, and traveled and played and went out there and did it, and expanded all the different things that I did. So it was kind of like Jason says, Greg Greg Koch's semi-shred blues too. Yeah. Yeah. If you guys ever see, gosh, I don't have the link right now. There's a link of me playing at the Handy Award, the blues thing in Memphis, the whatever it is. It's called they changed it. It used to be called the Handy Awards. That's when I played it. But you'll see, I play traditional, like Southern rock blues type stuff. And then I put a little something in there, but now, I just want to play something that means something now. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So let me finish this. So he says, and just plain slow stuff without such, there's a reason I was talking about that. Without such bursts sound extremely boring, small legato burst stuff. Yeah. Yeah. You got to put that in the stuff that you play in. But the reason I brought up when I played blues for years is because there's some blues that is tempos like that, like ridiculously slow, and trying to fit even quarter note. I mean, even eighth notes in between those quarter notes and having them fit right without rushing and without falling behind and everything. And then being recorded, you be in a stressful situation of being in a recording studio and, you have this super slow tempo and trying to be able to be on the beat or to play off of it at a slow tempo. That's super difficult. That will, this is fun. I like these afternoons because the title of this video is The Basics of Chord Theory, which we have not talked about. I guess we should just call this whatever we feel like talking about today. It's very interesting. This is more interesting to me than that, So let's get everybody involved in this. So we've got Jason's here, Evan's here, David's here, Dean's here. Let's have you guys get in on this too. What's your wall? Have any of you tried practicing, whether it's an exercise or a scale or whatever, to a certain tempo, and then realize that's where everything starts to fall apart? And you don't have to give me the beats per minute or whatever, but just do you have do you know where your limits are? This is very important. If you're a singer, if you don't know where your limits are, you're going to be embarrassing yourself in front of people live. And I've seen it happen over and over and over again. It's a mark of a not professional singer. Your favorite singers have a wall. There are notes that they do not go over on purpose because they're not sure how it's going to come out. So you'll never hear them sing that. You don't think about it. They stay in their zone, right? I can hit this note to this note, and I can hit it solid every time. Every once in a while, I'll try to hit one up here, but you never, and then you listen to like Dave Lee Roth right now, right? He's just trying to hit all sorts of stuff and it's not working out so good for him, right? But with guitar too, at some point, they have what they call it, fan picking, where you just play as fast as you can and hope your and hope your left hand works out, and that always sounds sloppy too. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Some new comments in here. Let's see here. Evan says, I haven't chased speed in a while, so I don't know my number. It's not that high. That's okay. That's okay. The number's not important. You don't even have to write it down. You just need to know where your limits are, and then push them. Know where the limit is and then push it. That's the game. And keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. And that's in anything too. This not just speed and technique. Know where your limits are. Be honest with yourself. That's a hard pill to swallow. You see people out there doing it. Let's just talk local, right? You go to see a band that's around you, local, and you go out and then there's somebody playing, and in your mind you're like, I can do that. I can do that right there. Could you do it? It's you're not going to get better till you know where your limits are. And once you understand, okay, I'm good up to this point. That's what, you look at like Jimmy Herring, like practicers. Joe Satriani's a practicer. Steve Vai's a practicer. Maybe not so much now. I heard him in an interview say he doesn't practice anymore. But at one point, I know Jimmy Herring is a practicer today. He's on a bus right now somewhere practicing right now, right? They know what they're struggling with. They're not sitting there going over and over the same stuff that they can do all the time. They're going over these people who are pushing themselves to be better. They're spending the day when they're not performing, working that edge, working that wall. What can I learn next? How I'm playing this, but it doesn't sound great when I play this. What do I need to do that to add into that stuff that they present? So you've got yourself as the guitar player that you present to the audience, and then you have the stuff that you're working on. And then you got to know where the wall is. And once you know where the wall is, then you're, we talk about, we have a lot of beginner and a lot of intermediate. And I always say intermediate is enormous. Beginner's very small, right? You're only a beginner for a short time. Intermediate lasts a very long time. And advanced is very small. It's a very small group. And this is, I think it's the hurdle to go from intermediate to advanced, is finding your wall, finding finding your limits and then pushing them. I love that. That's what I do in my life, finding my limits, trying to push them. Let's see here. David says, I start to lose the strings when speed goes up. And that's right. There's some fine adjustments that you can do. Issei says, well, 95% of guitar players cannot really play well. Weak attack, pulling at strings, vibrato, raised bass tone, dirt from other strings, bad timing, bends into nowhere. Yeah, and you know why? I think a lot of that is there's a lot of people have other things that are more important at first. They're still struggling with the big things and not with the polish. And that's a smart way to go. Work on the big things first, and then polish comes when you're comfortable, and then you sound like yourself. A lot of people don't even know that they have to work on these things, or these things have to be practiced. That's an ear thing too. I've talked about on the podcast. Maybe it wasn't today's. I'm trying to record ahead. I've recorded ahead a few days of these podcasts, and as your ear develops, it uncovers more about your own playing. You can hear other people's playing and you can figure out what they're doing. But the real benefit of your ear is to hear the things hear yourself. And, I always say, record yourself. So you can hear it when you're not busy, when your brain's not thinking the thousands of things you need to think about when you're playing, so that you can say, okay, I hear it. That's what I need to work on. Let's see here. Dean says, I just started working on hybrid picking and I'm done at 7 feet. That's fine, man. That's where that's something. I'm glad you're starting it. That's awesome. So look, we've got some Twitch, buy viewers, followers, and primes on youfollows.com. No thanks. Let's see. What can I do? Can I get rid of this? Can I get rid of this from here? No. Used to be able to. Let's see here. So we've got 2 on Twitch. I have to figure out how to get rid of those. Yeah, it doesn't let me on from here do it. I'm going to have to learn Twitch more. I just started it up. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we call it technical hearing. Yeah. Chris says, just got in. Dog sitting for the parents. Awesome. Been collecting the hound. I was thinking about you the other day. I went to our local English. It's an English. I guess they don't call it a pub, but it has a bar and it has darts and it has a pool table and it has booths. Does that make it a pub? It has a lot of draft beer and it's open It's not. It closes at 11. Food stops at 9. Does that sound familiar? I don't know. We had the Reuben, and it was delicious. It was wonderful. And let's see, what did Lisa have? We brought some home back for Lisa, and she had the not the shepherd's pie. This I forget what it was, cottage pie or something like that. Sounds like a pub to me too. I know, and all sorts of different ways of Guinness and mixing different things, and it was fantastic. I'm trying to think of the other things that we got. Anyway, we're going back. It was fun. So I live close to Disney World. That's where I live. And then we have we have an Irish restaurant. We have I guess they call it it's a non-specific country. I guess a Great Britain. Well, it's Great Britain, everything but main Ireland. It's Northern Ireland and all of Wales, Scotland, and England. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of a mixture of things, which I think ends up just being American. But the place that's closest to me was great, and so we had karaoke. So we have we had English expatriates doing karaoke, and it was fantastic. It was awesome, singing Lionel Richie songs and things of the sort. And I had a blast, man. Let's see here. Sounds like a pub to me. Dean says, do they have fish and chips? They sure do. They didn't. They were out. They had sold it all by the time I got there the other day. They also have roast on Sundays. One week it is pork, and the other week it's beef. They have all sorts of pasties, and they have a whole store, like a grocery store there as well. So you get all sorts of stuff you can't get around here. I really like the cans of Guinness that has the little shaky ball in there. Do they have that over there? They have them here all over the place, in the grocery store. I just get that. And of course, draft's better, but I love that it's like it aerates everything. I missed the name of this place. I don't know the name. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a cool restaurant. It's a cool restaurant. It was fun. We had a good time. Rick said, yeah. That's where I'm from. I'm not from here. I'm in the Florida area right now, but that's not originally where I'm from. I've lived all over the eastern half of the United States. So if you take the United States, you cut it in half, right around the Mississippi River to the east. I've lived in the north, the south, and the middle. And I've played that area. And what's funny, so I've never played out west. I never have played. I played like Huntsville, Arkansas, Huntsville, Memphis, on up to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and then I never played west, but I played everywhere in between: Florida, Louisiana, Kentucky, Maine, Ohio. All over the place. So. Chris says widget and cans. Yeah, load's better than original. Right. Yeah. The nitrogen in the Guinness, but yeah, mesmerized by the Guinness settling storm in the glass. Yes. And trying to get and they do the little designs on the top if they know what they're doing, and then you try to do it yourself with your finger after a while. Let's see. Yeah, I really like that. I really like, there was a place I would go for, just draft pints, and then I didn't, I just wanted to drink a lot of the stuff with the shaky nitrogen ball in there. So, Rick says, going to be back in Orlando in a few weeks. See if I can figure out where it is. Yeah, there's so many of them here. You know what? You know what else is here a lot? Brazilian steakhouses. Do you know about these? Brazilian steak. There's like 20 of them here. There's tons. This is a really neat place to live if you like to try different foods from different nationalities, not different countries. Brazilian steakhouses that they just basically just wheel carts of meat to you the whole time you're there. It's fantastic. And there's another one over. We went. I took everybody over to the where was it? Margaritaville Resort. One day we didn't do Universal or Disney. We went to Margaritaville. That car show. Remember that car show? And as we were walking around in the back of it, they're building a Brazilian steakhouse there too. I'm excited. That's going to be, I enjoy that stuff. There's so much good food here. You could never go to every place. It would take years to go to every place. And the Disney has just tons of great restaurants too. And then kind of the offshoot ones. There's a place called Todd English's, was it Blue Zoo, I think it is, that has the best steak. Ah, man, I'm getting hungry just talking to everybody. I want a Guinness and a steak now. What is it, Tuesday? Yeah, I'm going to be off tonight. We'll see where I end up. We're going to be out and about doing some stuff. Used to draw shamrocks on top when I worked in. Yeah. How'd you do it? Is that easy to do? I always try to do it. Usually after I've had a few. Yeah, the shamrocks. I love Guinness. It was so good. And so when I was gigging all the time, I didn't really drink when I was playing. But I would always have at least one beer before I started. And I would always drink a Bud Light. Because it wasn't heavy, and it's like I'd drink it and forget it, but it was just enough to kind of calm the nerves, and I could play the rest of the night fine. Then if I did drink some beers, it would be after I was finished. That's what I settled into. But if I was just drinking on my own, which I haven't for a long time, but every once in a while I do. Maybe if we get some folks come to town, maybe I'll will a little bit, but Guinness was what I liked the most. So okay, yeah, so it's just the nozzle going around. Yeah, that's what it is. They have special printers now. Yeah, it can get very high tech now. I've seen that. I have seen it. Okay, everybody. Well, it is 3:13. We have not talked about the basics of chord theory at all. If you want to hear about that, listen to the podcast. It's regular speed today. It's not fast speed. I think Jim Edwards, he wrote in one of the I'm not sure where it was. It may have been the community. I'm not sure. It may have been the comments on that page. He said he listened to it at half speed and it was perfect. But Jason's there, and I'm looking forward to hearing the pedals, man. That's going to be fun. And you know what? After that, I'll pick a new set because you got plenty of them. I've got a bunch too. Mine are older, but I've got some good ones. I have one of the best sounding pedals I have is this Full Drive 2 before it was the MOSFET. It was like the first, as soon as they went to the blue, as soon as they moved from orange, the one like Robin Trower uses, to the blue one. And it is really, if you do the comp cut on it, it is fantastic. I can use it on anything. I have to stop myself from using it and trying to do different pedals too. All right, man. Let's see here. Jason said I needed the kick in the pants to record. The basics of the chords quickly: 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, plus anything. Yeah, it was a good podcast. So I don't know if you've ever listened to the audio podcast, but we have a big audience. It's getting bigger right now, and we have a range of players. And so in every podcast, I try to have something that even an advanced player can take away from it. But so there's usually at least one little nugget for an advanced player. But what I found from teaching and going over these things is it really builds my foundation really, really well. So we did chord qualities, the DNA of it, the interval makeup of a scale and how you build the chords really quick, and why chord theory is important, and applications for that, and making your current learning three-dimensional, making it real and not having it be an all or nothing kind of thing. So I went into a little guitar shrink stuff as well in there too. Chris says, are there any rules? There's no rules, man. No, yeah, I know what you mean. Are there any rules to extensions on diatonic chords? Well, if you stay with ninths, you're going to, you know what? That is a good podcast. I just thought about 2 or 3 different situations where that's a podcast all on its own. Because some of your extensions will take you out. So say you're playing a minor 3, right? So what are we going to do? A, so a C sharp minor. And you want that to be a minor 9, right? Well, that 9 is going to take it out of the diatonic realm, right? So there are some things you got to watch out for. There are some sourness that you can do by throwing just any 9s or 11s or 13s or flat 9s in certain instances to keep it in the diatonic thing. So yeah, I just thought as I'm reading that, I'm thinking, yeah, you're right. There is some stuff. But any player who is comfortable with tension and can make it, and can just, some players take like Alan Holdsworth, for example, can take tension and just shove it down your throat, but do it in a way. Oh, and Oz Noy's the best at that, right? He can take some stuff that has no business working. It should not work at all. And because of his confidence and because of the rhythm, where he decides to place the tension, playing out and playing away from diatonic has just as much to do with rhythm as it does note choice when you play that. So you can play a note that's out, but if you play it right, it's kind of like comedy. It's like timing. If your timing is perfect with notes that create a lot of tension and there is a release, and it doesn't matter if the release is 2 measures away, it's your timing and it's your attitude with a lot of those things. Yeah. So let's see here. Kevin's here. What's up, man? I'm about to head out there, but I'm great to see you. Dean says, so if you're playing an A7 chord on the 5th fret, do you always add the G note with your pinky? A7 chord. Do you always add like that? Do you always add? No, you don't have to. You don't have to add that pinky note, that G. You're talking about the one on the B string, because you've got a G in between these 2 fingers. Going back to the bar is a G there too. So you can just play it like this, no pinky, or you could put it in there if you wanted, or you can do all sorts of stuff, man. Who was the second person? Oz Noy was the second person. He's an Israeli kind of fusion guitar player. I would say definitely fusion guitar player. Great to listen to. And he can really play some out stuff. And then he'll play something that sounds like Stevie Ray Vaughan. And then he'll just play some whacked stuff. Really great player. Really, there's an exercise that I like that I want to make kind of my own version of that he does. It really helps with 7th chords and how to play different tension and different seventh chords. Okay, I'm going to head out. I'm about a day behind on coaching for the Monday people. It's Tuesday now. I'm going to try to get that done. I will definitely get it done before the end of the night. And hopefully I'll be back on a schedule soon. It was great to hang out with everybody today. Great to talk Guinness. Always up to talk Guinness. It's great to. We had Issei. I know I'm messing it up, and you're very kind to not rip me a new one. We had some weird Twitch people in there, and let's see here, Dean, Jason, Kevin, right there, Chris, and Evan. Thanks a bunch. And let's see here. Jason says, see you later. Chris says, later's. Glad I managed to pop in. Working late the rest of the week, so might not see you. Well, hey, man. We're happy to see you whenever you can. Okay? The truth is that all chords are just distorted fifth. They depends on which way you. It's kind of like the backside of water, right? I'll leave on that note. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, okay? Bye-bye.